Hello, my name is Bianca from Lucky Crafting Art and I'm very happy that you're here again. Today we have a video about general tips and tricks for junk journaling. So tips that help me make my journals more interesting or look more familiar, more balanced, something like this. And these are maybe tricks that you don't notice right away, so that's why I looked for them, searched for them, and now I want to present you all of these different tricks because they're, maybe you see them, but you don't notice them. And that's why I filmed this video today. So let's get started. So the first tip and trick is layer, layer, layer. And that means that you just put different things over one another. For example, here we have an old tea bag, then we have wrapping paper, then we have a plant, here we have some cheesecloth, then here we have a card and another tea bag. And this just brings more depth in your journal, so it looks more interesting and you just have something to look at. Same with this one right here. We have an old book page, we have linen, we have cheesecloth, and then we have this dangle. And when you look at it like this, it looks boring. I mean, it still looks good, but boring compared to this look. And that's what I mean with layer, layer, layer. So don't be afraid to hide your first page. That would be the sentence I'd explain this trick with. Then the next tip is leave a border. And what I mean by that is that we don't glue pockets or whatever directly to the edge of the paper below it. Let me show you it in comparison. So imagine this is the flap and we would glue it right to the edge of the brown paper. And do you see what I mean? It just doesn't look as interesting as when we leave a border. It's kind of the same, it's kind of familiar with the first tip, the layer tip, because this is a kind of layered as well. So yeah, you can see the difference. And then I have another example. This one right here. So here it's the same. I just left a little space. And now it just, you can see it better. It just creates more contrast or stands out better. Then we have the tip, add a little extra. And what I mean by that is that we don't only glue down this beautiful butterfly, but that we glue down something under it. Kind of, again, the same with the layer tip. But you can see it in comparison right now. Still looks good. But now it looks better, it looks more interesting. Same with that right here. The page is beautiful on its own, like this, but now it just looks more interesting. And this is just a piece of H tape, nothing more to it. And it kind of looks more special. And then the next tip is vary the size of the paper. So what I mean by that is this, what you can see right here. Here we have a shorter paper, and here we have a longer. This one is even longer, this one is even longer, and that one is even longer. So you can see the size of the paper difference here, quite good. And then it's not just longer in this direction, but it's also longer in that direction. So this one is longer than this one. This one is shorter than this one. That one is longer than this one. So it just kind of creates an interesting look just by the different sizes of the paper. You don't have to do something else, just use different papers. You can see it throughout the whole flip through. Here we have it again, the different sizes. So kind of, again, the layering effect. I'd say that it all comes down to this one tip, layer, layer, layer in the end. So yeah, but you see what I mean when I flip through this video. These papers have all different sizes, and that is what makes it interesting. Then the next tip is a tip that you don't really see, but a tip that you feel. Use different textures. And of course, you can also see different textures, but mainly you feel them. And this is another great tip, because then your journal isn't just beautiful, like the way it looks, but also kind of interesting the way it feels. For example, here we have a tea bag with dried leaves in it, and this is kind of a rough texture, I'd say. Then here we have the lace that is kind of soft. Then this paper is kind of smooth. This paper right here is a kind of crinkled because I tea dyed it. This has also a different texture because of the thread. And this is also, again, very smooth because it is an old plant encyclopedia page. And this is what I mean with the different textures. So it's just it just gets interesting while you flip through it. For example, the lace right here is also a different texture. So that's how you can bring a bit of interest in your journal just by using different textures. And as I said, you maybe don't really know about this tip because you can't really see it. But yeah, it's a big game changer because it's just so interesting to flip and through the journal, because you can also feel so many different things. Then for the next tip, that is create side elements. And by that, I mean just things that you can play with and that dangle around. And for example, these threads. Or another example are these little, oh wait, my focus. These little play things. And here we have a rivet that was left over, and I just glued that or stuck that down here with the tape. And yeah, it's just something, again, it brings a bit more texture and it's something you can play with. Here the tag is another great example for the layering method, and this is a great example for the side element. So I just put that onto the tag, and then you have something to play with. Again, something that makes your journal a bit more interesting. When you flip through it, you have something to play with. Here, the dangle at the spine as well. I can't lift that journal up without playing with the dangle. So yeah, just more engaging. All right, now for the next tip, create reoccurring elements. And by that, I mean that you have something that always comes up again in your journal. You can do that, for example, or you can do it in a different ways. For example, the first way is that you use the same elements or the same papers in your signatures. For example, here we have a wildflower paper, then we have either folded, then we have coffee dyed, a design block, a old page from an encyclopedia, this paper, and then that brown paper. And it always comes up again in the journal. You can see it here, brown, and this one, encyclopedia, brown, from a design blog, encyclopedia. So you know what I mean, right? And this is how you get a familiar touch in your journal. So you can create a cohesive look throughout the journal. You could also do that by, for example, gluing some lace down on every third or fourth page or so. Or by using a theme, for example, that your whole journal has a nature theme or a sea theme or whatever you can think of, dragon, elves, whatever. Or a color, so that you, for example, use all different shades of blue or red, or you would just go vintage like this one. And yeah, as I said, then it just looks more balanced and more familiar. Then another tip is the color connection between the pages. So you can see right here, the orange from this page is matching the orange from that page. So when you look at it, it kind of looks harmonic. I can show you this in comparison. The page looks good too, but there is not a pink tone or pink shade on this page. So it kind of feels like it's a little bit off. Again, compared to this one, there's more going on these two pages than on these pages, but they just look more harmonic together, or harmonious, or however you call it. Then another example right here. Here we have the blue from this writing and the blue from that writing. So yeah, it just creates a connection between the pages. And then for my last tip, this is a tip that you don't have to do. I mean, you don't have to do any of these tips. Maybe you don't like them or whatever. You can be free in your creativity. But this is a tip that I noticed only a few weeks ago when I was looking at videos about junk journals, and I was thinking, they all look so full, if I can put it that way. They just look like there's something going on, and that was the point that was missing in my journals. And then I discovered why. Because of the sewing. Here, let me show you. This is a page with sewing on it, and when I cover that, you can see a difference. I mean, it still looks interesting because of the coffee dots right here, but with the sewing, it looks like there's something, there's even more going on. Let me show you another example. This is a page I sewed on, and of course there is a stamp, but we can cover that because the stamp is not the point of the whole thing. Now, let me put a normal coffee dyed paper over it. Do you see the difference? And I think it's huge. I mean, of course, we also have the coffee stains on here. That's another great tip to make your paper look more interesting. Just spill coffee over it. That's something I'll do every time I finish a journal. I just go through it and put coffee over it because it looks more interesting. Yeah, despite the fact that there are coffee stains on it, you can still see the difference, right? So it's more going on. It looks like, yeah, the journal is fuller, as I said, if you can put it that way. So, and this was it, guys. I hope you liked it. If so, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Tell me what hack, what tip, what trick was the most mind-blowing for you, because I know that, as I explained at the beginning, you can see all of these things, but you also have to understand them. So you have to understand what is really different between the journal from another person and yours, and what is the thing that you like or that you don't like from the journal from another person compared to yours. So yeah, you have to not only see the differences, but really understand it, so that you can change the things that you don't like in your journal, or that you can keep the things that you like, so that you develop your own style. So I hope you liked it. And now I wish you the best and a great day, and be creative. Have fun. Bye bye.